Why does Ryle take this position? To explain this, he asks us to imagine a naive researcher observing a chess match. He commiserates with the players on their bondage because, he says, every move that you make is governed by unbreakable rules. From the moment that one of you puts his hand on a pawn, the move that he will make with it is accurately predictable. The whole course of what you tragically dub your game is remorselessly preordained. Nothing in it takes place which cannot be shown to be governed by one or other of the iron rules. Heartless necessity dictates the play, leaving no room in it for intelligence or purpose. End quote. Ryle then has the players respond by saying that, quote, though every move is governed, not one of them is ordained by the rules. True, given that I start to move my bishop, you can predict with certainty that it will end on a square of the same color as that from which it started. That can be deduced from the rules, but that, or how far I shall move my bishop at this or that stage of the game, is not stated in it or deducible from the rules. End quote. So Ryle points out that, despite the rules, there's plenty of room for cleverness and stupidity, for deliberation and choice when playing chess. The rules are the same for all games of chess ever played, but yet every game is unique, quote. The rules are unalterable, but the games are not uniform. The rules prescribe what the players may not do. Everything else is permitted, though many moves that are permitted would be bad tactics, end quote. The players explain to the naive observer, explanations for particular moves can be discovered, but not explanations in terms of the rules of the game. These explanations are in terms of quite different things. For example, the player's use of tactical principles, and every move may obey both a tactical principle and a rule of the game. Ryle says, quote, knowing how to apply tactical principles involves knowing the rules of the game, but there is no question of these principles being reducible to the rules of the game, end quote. Ryle then says that the laws of physics are not really like the rules of chess. Nature is not a game, and its laws are not human inventions or conventions. But, claims Ryle, the chess illustration indicates that there's no contradiction in saying that, quote, one and the same process, such as the move of a bishop, is in accordance with two principles of completely different types, and such that neither is reducible to the other, though one of them presupposes the other, end quote. In other words, there can be two quite different sorts of explanation, neither of which is incompatible with the other. A spectator might ask, in one sense of why bishops always end moves on a square of the same color as they started. This can be answered by the rules of chess. He might then ask, in another sense of why a player moved his bishop. This can be answered by referring to the player's concern to remove a threat to his king. Ryle concludes that words like explanation, law, rule, principle, why, because, cause, reason, govern, necessitate, etc., have a range of very different and distinct meanings. Mechanisms seem to be a menace because it was assumed that the use of these terms in mechanical theories is their sole use. That, for example, all why questions are answerable in terms of the laws of motion. Whereas, in fact, says Ryle, all why questions of one type are perhaps answerable in those terms, but no why questions of other types are answerable merely in those terms.